to welcome everyone to the Henry County Zoning Board meeting of Thursday, November the 8th, 2012. We have a few housekeeping items that we would like to mention before we go into our meeting. This meeting is being televised on the Henry County TV Channel 14 and will be rebroadcast each Thursday at 7:30 p.m. A video of the meeting is also available on demand at the county website. This is a time now that you can turn off your cell phones, turn them off or on silent if you don't mind. You can do that at this time. If you wish to speak tonight, you will need to fill out a public hearing speaker card. We allot 10 minutes for those in favor of a case and 10 minutes for those in opposition of a case. For example, if 10 people wish to speak, they all share the 10-minute slot and so forth. Also, when you come up to the podium, please make sure you state your name and your residence so that we can get that for the record. And also, when you're addressing the board, make sure you address the board and not members of the audience. Okay, at this time, would like to have Jennifer Brown lead us in the invocation, and then followed by Mark Donnelly, who will lead us in the pledge.
Stand. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity to come out tonight to do the work of your citizens of this county. Lord, I pray that you will keep us mindful of the cases in front of us and just pray that we do the right thing to represent the county, Lord. Praise you for this beautiful day that we've had, with sunshine and beautiful weather. Pray for those in the Northeast continue to get hit by Mother Nature. It's in his name we pray, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, you may be seated. We would like to welcome new zoning board member Jim Risher, with representing District 3. Thank you. Okay, this meeting is now called to order. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda for this evening?
So moved. Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Okay, and any opposed? All right, it's all unanimous. All right, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay, any discussion? I got discussion on the other. Okay, all those in favor? All those opposed? Any abstain? Okay. Let it be known that Mr. Bailey was not here and he's abstaining.
Mr. Risher.
And Mr. Risher, are you abstaining?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Minutes are approved. Okay. At this time, we will have staff comments. Are there any comments from the staff?
There are no comments from staff at this time.
Okay, and I can't hear you.
There are no comments from staff at this time.
Okay, so we're now going to move to our agenda items.
Notice of amendment to official zoning map of the City of Stockbridge. Notice is hereby given that the City of Stockbridge will conduct a public hearing for the purpose of approving an ordinance to adopt a new official zoning map. The corrected copy of the official zoning map will supersede and replace the official zoning map adopted January 12th, 2009. The map will be available for viewing at the Henry County Planning and Zoning Department located at 140 Henry Parkway. Case is presented by Sherry Hobson Matthew.
Good evening, Madam Chair and board members. As Jeremy has indicated, we officially are requesting that the Zoning Advisory Board recommend an approval or disapproval to the City of Stockbridge regarding an amendment to their official zoning map. Planning staff was notified via mail from the City Attorney on October 12th that the City would like to amend certain properties within the jurisdictional boundaries of the city of Stockbridge. Most notably, a number of those properties were properties that had been annexed, but were incorrectly delineated on their official zoning map. They also wanted to clear up some of the parcels that had been rezoned over the last year or so that had not been accurately or correctly reflected on their official zoning map. As part of the staff review, we also looked at other parcels in the county or other parcels within the city limits in which we felt those parcels had been operating for a number of years as commercial uses, but were incorrectly delineated or had a designation that was just not appropriate for that use. So what staff has recommended is that the official zoning map as presented by the city of Stockbridge be approved, but we're also making 3 recommendations as part of that approval. The first recommendation is that the official zoning map should bear the mayor's signature and the effective date of adoption, and that is keeping in compliance with their code of ordinances as it pertains to the official zoning map. Secondly, planning staff is recommending that the city of Stockbridge include some type of language so that when we have errors or omissions or drafting errors, that we are administratively able to make those amendments without having to come back and re-adopt the official zoning map. And then finally, planning staff is recommending that 4 parcels that are currently located at the intersection of 42 and Brannon Road be delineated as C3 zone properties rather than the M1 designation that they are currently shown as. I will place a copy of those properties on the overhead for the viewing public. And if you just look at the overhead, they are the 4 parcels that have the dots delineated on those parcels. Planning staff would be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, do we have any questions from the board members for the staff?
I have one question. I think you had mentioned that the city should also amend its future land use map to be consistent with the changes that are being proposed tonight.
That is correct. Thank you. I forgot that. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions or
I don't
comments?
have any other questions, no.
Okay. All right, are there any comments from the public in favor of these amendments? Any comments from the public in favor of these amendments? Okay, are there any comments from the public in opposition of these amendments? Any comments from the public in opposition? I don't see anything. Okay, we're going to need a motion for this amendment.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion.
Oh, just a moment. He's got to make them. That's okay. He has to state his motion. That's okay. You're okay.
I would like to recommend approval of the city's request to amend the Stockbridge official zoning map with the following recommendations. In order to ensure adherence to the Stockbridge Code of Ordinance, Section 8.36.020, the official zoning map should be amended to bear the signature of the mayor and city seal as evidenced of the final approval date. Number 2, the Stockbridge Code of Ordinance shall be amended to include a section for amendments to the official zoning map due to drafting errors, omissions, and conflicts with zoning records and/or minutes. Number 3, staff further recommends that the following parcels be amended to reflect a C3 designation use due to the past and present commercial uses of the property. The parcels should be referenced as 070-010, 17001, and 07001017013 and 07001017015, and last but not least, 07001017011. Staff further recommends that the Stockbridge future land use map be amended to reflect the commercial designation. Now, can you second that?
Is there any discussion? All right, we're going to call the vote. All in favor? None opposed? Unanimous. Okay, thank you. Next case.
Ordinance 12-01-S to amend Chapter 8.36 of the City of Stockbridge Code of Ordinances, which provides for zoning as to permit as an accessory use one dwelling unit per self-storage facility in C3 zoning districts, to provide for severability, to repeal conflicting ordinances, to provide an effective date, and for other purposes. This case is presented by Sherry Hobson-Matthews.
Good evening again, Board. As Jeremy has indicated, we have a text amendment before us at the request of the City of Stockbridge. Planning staff was again notified by the city attorney that the City of Stockbridge wanted to amend the allowable accessory uses under the C3 zoning district as it pertains to many warehouses. The city is requesting that the Zoning Advisory Board approve an amendment to the current code which would allow for one dwelling unit to be established for security personnel, management personnel, or the facility owner for one mini warehouse facility or warehouse self-storage facility without outdoor storage. Planning staff has reviewed the text amendment and has no objection. Planning staff further would like to recommend that the city would look at adopting the county's ordinance as it does pertain to self-storage facilities. And I just wanted you all to be aware that what they're asking for would be consistent with what the county's Unified Land Development Code allows for many warehouses. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions.
Okay, are there any questions from the board members for the staff? Okay, if we don't have any, are there any comments from the public in favor of this amendment? Any comments from the public in favor of the amendments? Okay, do we have any comments from the public in opposition of the amendment? Calling for any public in opposition of this amendment. Okay. We've got need a motion for this?
Or an e-motion. Madam Chairman, I would like to recommend that the city adopt this as staff has recommended. This has been a long time in coming. I'm glad that the council has now decided that this is a step they need to take. So I recommend approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? It's unanimous. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
The next item?
Conditional use, CU 12-11, Mindy Beaton-Bowe, doing business as World Extreme Gymnastics and Cheer of McDonough, Georgia, requests a conditional use for property located at 338 McDonough Parkway in Land Lot 157 of the 7th District. The request is for a gym facility in District 1. The case is presented by Wanda Moore.
Good evening, Board. The applicant, World Extreme Gymnastics and Cheer, is requesting a conditional use to allow the operation of a gym facility within the M1 Light Manufacturing Zoning District. The gymnastic and cheerleading gym facility satisfies the ULDC requirements for amusement, sports, or recreation establishments as amended by the Board of Commissioners on November 16, 2010. The World Extreme Gym currently is located at 403 McDonough Parkway and has been in business there since May 4, 2004. The existing gym is located within the M1 zoning district and is permissible as a legal nonconforming use. The gym has outgrown their current facility and wants to move across the street to a larger facility also in the M1 zoning district. Staff has recommended approval of the request with 3 conditions.
Okay. Any questions from the board members for the staff? Do you want to state what those 3 conditions are?
Yes, ma'am. Condition number 1, that all building accessibility and fire codes must be met prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. Number 2, prior to issuance of the CO, the applicant shall provide to Henry County DOT and Public Safety the amount of vehicular traffic expected for the largest weekday event. And number 3, notwithstanding anything contrary herein, no supplemental standards imposed herein shall be interpreted or applied in such a manner so as to require any violation of any existing building, development, stormwater, and/or other applicable codes.
Does anyone else have any questions for staff regarding this? If the applicant is here, I would like to ask them to come forward, please. Make sure you state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Mindy Beatonbow, and my building is at 403 McDonough Parkway.
What was your last name again? I'm sorry.
Beatonbow.
Okay. Do you have anything you would like to add regarding staff's comments regarding this?
No, basically, it's what she said. We've outgrown it. We have no parking spaces. Parents are sitting on top of each other, and we just need to move. So we want to stay in the same area because that's where all of our people are, and it's a convenient location. So we brought some of our parents here just to let you know it's bad. We got to move.
They can do a cheer for us later, huh?
I know, right?
Let's see, does the board have any questions for the applicant? Any board members have any questions?
Yes, I have one.
Okay, Ms.
Do you plan
McDonald?
on vacating your existing facility?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're doing away with it and just moving across the street?
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyone else have anything? Okay, you may be seated. At this time, we're going to allow 10 minutes for those who want to speak in favor of the case to come forward. Maybe this would be the time to do your little cheer or whatever. No, that was teasing. Please state your name and your residence.
Hi, my name is Lakeisha Parks. My address is 2161 Kellington Drive, McDonough, Georgia. I've been a resident of McDonough for 14 years, and I've been a member of World Extreme for 3.5 years. Currently, we are like a can of sardines in the gym and the parking lot. We're having to park on the street in different places, so it would be very beneficial for all of us to go to a bigger space.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak in favor? Okay. At this time, we're going to allow 10 minutes for those who want to speak in opposition of this case. All righty. I don't see anyone coming up. Okay. I would like the applicant to please come back up to the podium. Does the board have any further questions for the applicant? Okay, you can be seated again. Okay, if we can call the case. We're going to call the case. He's got to call it first.
Any of the
You
other?
don't have to call it?
You can call any of the others.
Well, I know, but I thought those were amendments, and we didn't have to call for amendments. You don't have to call. Okay. Well, don't mess up my notes. Okay, Mark.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a recommendation that we approve the request for the conditional use permit with the 3 conditions.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? It's unanimous, none opposed. Motion carried. Okay, thank you. Next case?
CU 1212H, the Garden of Growth Center for Early Learning Incorporated of Hampton, Georgia, requests request a conditional use for property located at 37 Woolsey Road in land lot 112 of the 3rd District. The request is for a daycare and religious facility. The property again is located in the city of Hampton, and Jeremy Gilbert will be representing planning staff.
Good evening, Chairman and board members. As Sherry stated, this is a request for a conditional use that is within the city limits of Hampton. The applicant is requesting a conditional use to allow for the continual use of the subject property as a church or religious facility. The church is also seeking to utilize the existing church facility as a daycare within the R2 zoning district. The property is currently occupied by the Berea Christian Church, and according to tax assessor records, the property has been utilized since 1973 as a church. In reviewing this, it was also determined that the applicant would need a couple of variances from the development standards for a church that are outlined in the Hampton City Code, and those would be a reduction to the side yard setback on the eastern property line, reduction to the planted buffer strip along the east side property line, and the roof classification. At this time, the applicant is not proposing to construct any additional buildings. They're just trying to clean up the fact that the church doesn't have a conditional use to allow for the new accessory use to come in. Planning staff did recommend approval to this conditional use should the aforementioned variances be approved. These variances will be heard by the City Council at their December 4th City Council meeting. I'll answer any questions that the board may have.
Do any of the board members have any questions for the staff? Okay. I would like to ask the applicant to please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Mark Whitley. I'm with Whitley Engineering, 38 East Main Street North, Hampton.
Okay. Do you have anything you'd like to add for the staff's comments?
Really very little. Jeremy pretty much explained the situation of why we're asking for the church and the daycare, and just again wanted to re-emphasize that this facility's been there for a number of years, and the daycare is proposing to utilize the existing facilities, which already consist of the playgrounds, obviously, for the church and the nursery. So the facilities are in place for it, and of course, Ms. Reddick is going to be the operator, and she's here to answer any questions in case anybody has any specific questions about the daycare itself.
Okay. Does the board have any questions for the applicant? Okay, I don't think they do, so you may be seated. At this time, we're going to allow 10 minutes for those who want to speak in favor of the case. So any of those that want to speak in favor, please come forward. Okay, I don't see anyone that wants to speak in favor. At this time, we're going to allow 10 minutes for those to speak in opposition. Is there anybody here that wants to speak in opposition of this case? Okay, if the applicant can please come forward. I'm going to have to assume that the board, if they didn't have any questions before we sat down, they don't have any now. I just want to make sure you got your exercise tonight.
I need it.
Okay, then you may be seated. And since we don't have to call the case, I'm ready.
We recommend to the City of Hampton approval of the requested conditional use should the aforementioned variances be approved.
Do you have a second?
I second.
All those, any discussion? All those in favor? It's unanimous. Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. You can hear the next case, please.
RZ 1208, Kevin and Donna Carrington of Hampton, Georgia, request a rezoning from RA Residential Agricultural to C3 Highway Commercial for property located at 2325 Highway 1941 and 3102 Brown Drive in land lots 110 and 83 of the 3rd District. The property consists of 1.2 plus 6 plus or minus acres, and the request is for a used car sales lot. The property is located in District 2, and Wanda Moore is representing planning staff.
Good evening again. As Sherry stated, the property is being requested to be rezoned from RA to C3 Highway Commercial. The property is identified on the future land use map for commercial use, and staff has recommended approval with 2 conditions. The first one is if an inter-parcel access is established, the property owner shall install measures to discourage through traffic by the general public seeking access from and to Highway 1941 and Brown Drive. And then number 2, notwithstanding anything to the contrary herein, no zoning conditions imposed herein shall be interpreted or applied in such a manner so as to require any violation of any existing building, development, stormwater, and/or other applicable codes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, do we have any questions from board members for staff? Okay. Would the applicant please come forward and state your name and address for the record?
Good evening, Board. My name is Kevin Carrington. Address is 2325 Highway 1941, Hampton.
Do you have anything you'd like to add to staff comments regarding this case? Okay. Does the board have any questions for the applicant? Okay. I don't see any. Okay. You may be seated.
Thank you.
At this time, we're allowing 10 minutes for those who want to speak in favor of this case. Okay, 10 minutes for those who want to speak in opposition. Okay, would the applicant please come back up to the microphone? I'll give the board one last chance to ask you a question.
I do have one question.
Okay, Mr. Donnelly?
In our earlier discussions in our workshop meeting, we were trying to determine, are these houses being rented currently?
They were. Actually, the one on 1941 has just been vacated. The one in the back, I'm renting it to one of my employees right now. He does maintenance and whatnot for me.
Right.
You know, my intention in the future is for this property to become commercial. It would not necessarily be a rental property in the back. Most likely going to be storage. Could be a possibility if the county goes along with it, for me to continue renting it to him as a caretaker and a security type person for my car business in the front. I'll certainly abide by anything that the county requests me to do with that property.
Sherry, can he continue to rent that under C2? C3?
Yes, sir. We could consider it an employee support facility. So we would certainly
Very well.
do that. I'm sorry, we could consider it an employee support facility?
We can hear her.
She's not old.
Barely. We can't hear you, Sherry.
The code would allow for an employee support facility, so we could certainly work with him to make sure that he meets all those regulations as it pertains to that.
We'll work towards that end.
Any other questions for the applicant? You may be seated.
Thank you.
Okay, since we don't have to call the case,
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion of approval of this request. Any recommendations also provided to the Board of Commissioners. I recommend approval with the 2 conditions as stated by staff in the staff report.
okay. Do we have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor? It's unanimous, unopposed. Okay, thank you. Okay, at this time, we're going to allow 10 minutes total for public comment. So if anyone from the public would like to come up and address the zoning board, we have that time allotted for right now. And I don't see anyone rushing up to the podium. So, motion to adjourn?
Second.
No
You don't have to
discussion?
have a motion.
Okay. We're done.
Okay, that was